John the Van Guy. I thought I'd show you this, laying the path. This is like a continuation. I've removed all the turf and just put felt down, and the stone's coming this afternoon, so I'm in a kind of a rush. So this is the drive, quite extensive. Now first of all, I whacked, in a sense, whacked down the actual the gravel that was already there. I've moved the gravel around to get it kind of flat as I could. Way over there is where I've taken the grass out, and I use this Wacker. That's what they call a Wacker. I borrowed it from my son-in-law's dad. Very kindly let me use this. Now this is a typical Wacker. You can hire them. This is a heavy duty one, and while I'm at it, I'll just show you a few little tricks I found. It's all new to me as well. So this is a petrol one. Now, how do you start it? Well, this particular one, there's a switch here. Can you see that? Yeah. That's the switch. Switch it on. And this is the mechanism, the accelerator and the choke. The top one here, am I showing you the right thing? Yeah, the top one here is the choke. And this is the throttle, which has got to be on full. That's the, well, allowing the fuel in, I think. That's got to be right over there. Now when you start up, you switch on, you put the choke on. That's the choke on full, and obviously this is a pull cord thing. When it actually starts pulling that, you push the choke in line with this one. Now this is a movable throttle here. Now you want that in the center initially, and to get the whole thing to vibrate, this has to be full on. So you pull it across, the revolutions increase, and you'll get the whole thing moving. This big plate, heavy duty plate, starts vibrating. If you want to stop it moving and stop it vibrating, all you do is put it like in the middle, this lever, hold it in the middle, and it'll sort of just tick over without actually doing anything. Or you could actually switch it off. This is probably a coil switch there. That's about it. The wheels on it, there's wheels on this. These move, you can move these sideways, and these locking pins hold them in place. Well, that's all I can say about this. Took me a while to get used to it. Oh, yeah. This actually came off. The cord broke on that. So there's 3 bolts hold this unit on, and the cord actually goes round a device which swings out 2 arms, which then twists like the shaft, a circular shaft, which turns the engine over. You actually, if you haven't got this, I believe what you can do is use a bit of rope around there and a cord or something, and do it without all this fancy contraption. I found it when it snapped. I took it all apart. There's a trick to actually getting the spring around again. You've got to turn the internal bit anti-clockwise, so the internal fan bit anti-clockwise about 4 turns when you're putting it back, and to readjust the spring in there so the thing keeps springing back on itself. Took me a while to realize that, but that's it. That's all I can say about that. Right, so that's a bit of information there. As regards this fabric, this is heavy duty fabric. You can get there's different levels of thicknesses of it, and for the driveway, I think you want it. There's I'm not sure of the units, but This is a 90. This is the thickest one. I think there's an 80 and probably a 70 for sort of far. But where you want to drive, you want the thickest possible, the strongest possible. And there you go. Now I've used these. I'm using at the edges these sleepers, which I picked up from NXS, £7.80 each. I need quite a few of those to actually go around this. Now, fortunately, I talked to my neighbour about overlapping this and what to do, and he said that when you're overlapping here, what you need is where is it? Overlap so well. Where is it? Oh, there's the overlap. What you need is at least 2 foot overlap, which is probably more than they say. But the danger is, if you don't allow a lot of overlap, you can find that the earth creeps through, the whole thing moves slightly, and it's a bit of a pain. It starts coming up in the drive. So allow a really good overlap. I had to buy some more because once I realised that. And also, you want a good, plenty of overlap at the edges. And what do you do with the edges? Well, I've been looking around, you can't find much on it actually, but you can like trench the edges, sort of turn them and push them down, trench with an angle grinder or something, and push them down into that sort of trench. The stones are coming this afternoon, so I'm rushing all this out. I'm rushing this video really, but just to give you an idea. So with using that Wacker plate, I compacted the drive using, as they say, 3 ways straight down and 3 ways across, 3 times down, 3 times across. So I probably did 2. And you just fill up all the divots and the hollows and things, readjust things. So it's quite solid underneath. I used, this is very handy as well, you might need this thing. Yeah. Now the small one is probably better than the large one I found for the breaking up bits of concrete hardcore, if you have that, to get it nice and flat. That's another thing. Now the big thing I found, because you remember it's all compacted, so you can get all these plastic pegs and things which you can actually buy. Oh, very good. But I found unless you're going into a soil base, they crack, they break, and they just break off. And then I found, fortunately, steel pegs work extremely well on a very hardcore surface. So I went to Halfords in town, and I found for £1.50 you can get 10 of these things. And steel V-pegs, okay? And they do drive into this thing. So at that price, it's worth getting quite a few. And you're supposed to go I'm not doing every metre, but that's the idea. And that starts the whole thing shifting, stops it all shifting. At the edges, you want a really good overlap. Probably at least a foot, a couple of feet there. I didn't do an edge there. I can't really change that now, but that should be all right. It's really, again, the whole thing to stop weed growth underneath. Okay, how do you fix those in? Well, I bought these things. Right, no, they were from B&Q, in fact. And obviously sit behind each sleeper. Now these are called mini sleepers. The next door neighbour, who's got the same stone, that's where I got the idea, a Cerny stone, for 12 ton, very good, from C.A. Stevens. I got it 12 ton with delivery for 650, which is really good, I think. And that's the stone. And there they use the big main sleepers over there, you can see them. He's kindly, the next door neighbour is very, very kind, to let me put some of my cars in his drive while I'm doing this. So, and it looks like it's starting to rain. What fun. Right, so the main thing is, and I'm getting all these tips from different people, and I keep thinking, my son-in-law's father, he's a builder, he said, John, when you get the lorry comes, what you wanted to do, it's going to be loose aggregate which is coming, a cerny stone. Getting to drop it in sections onto your drive. So it's kind of obvious really, but rather than big heap on the middle of the drive, I'm going to get into reverse up and then drop it into units on the drive. And it makes it a lot easier when you're actually obviously spreading it out. What was the other tip? The other tip was when you're don't shovel from the top when you're shoveling it, shovel from the bottom. And you'll find that the top will eventually fall onto your shovel. Again, another little tip from a pro. What else can I tell you? Okay, well, I'm learning, so I hope you've learned something as well. Looks like I'm going to get wet. Okay, bye folks.